Hello and happy Monday. Welcome to Love is Your Medicine podcast. I am Mitch Wright. This is episode number 10. You have been with me for 10 episodes now. I appreciate you and welcome you to yet another topic that we can discuss and talk about. Get some stuff off my mind. So I'm glad you're here to listen to that. This subject is something near and dear to me. It is about you taking a stand for yourself and not letting anyone push you around, or not letting anyone do anything to you or have you do anything that you don't want to do or that you don't feel comfortable with. You know, a lot of times, and this happened to me before, but I watch family and friends let it happen to them. And I am here to tell you that you don't have to take it. You can take a stand for yourself. So let's get into it with episode number 10. I'm glad you're here. Yes, welcome to episode 10. And like I spoke about in the intro, this episode will be about not letting people walk all over you. Like I said, it's a subject near and dear to my heart. If you read the description of this episode, you'll notice that I said there are a lot of personality traits in our world where people just exhibit their natural personalities. And while there are various personalities and how people act, I've always just kind of categorized people into two categories: a wolf or a sheep. And so, no, I'm not going to get all political on you, because I know that has kind of a different connotation, especially the past few years in our society. But no, I'm talking about personality traits. Wolves being more assertive, knowing what they want, going after it. Now, mind you, some can take this to a totally wrong extreme, and I'll touch on that later. But then you have the more passive or timid ones, or shy, kind of go with the flow. They're not going to speak up in a crowd, but they'll rather follow or go along with. And those are the ones I consider to be sheep. Now, from the get-go, let me say, this is by any means saying that one group is better than the other group. You know, there are good in both groups. To me, in my opinion, both groups, all these different personality traits are needed in our world, in our society. It's what makes, the world go around. So, just think about if you had just one personality type throughout the whole world, it would just be chaotic, things just not going smoothly. So yeah, both are needed, but especially if you find yourself in that timid category or shy or not assertive. You kind of go with the flow, or you're just a natural follower. Like if it's in a group setting with friends, or say classmates or workmates, and you have to do like some type of group work or activity, you might find yourself being the one that's quiet. You kind of just observe everything, you watch what everyone does, and someone may direct you, what you need to do, and you may be comfortable with that. That's, more power to you. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. The only thing where, I see an issue or problems may arise is I don't like to see anyone taken advantage of. And so I'm always, the people that's close to me and dear to me, starting with my wife and my children, I always tell them, don't let anyone make you do or say anything that you don't want to do or that you're not comfortable with. It's not a good feeling, and it's not a good place to be, especially your mindset. And so this started with me at a young age. I was a shy kid, chubby, so I always wanted to just kind of be in the background. I didn't want a lot of attention brought upon myself. So, naturally I would just shy away from too much contact with people. At a young age, it caused bullying and being picked on. Instead of my quietness or shyness taking the spotlight off of me, it did the opposite, and it made me the target of bullies and people with bad intentions. So I learned from an early age. So I would say in like elementary school, kindergarten through 7th grade, this is the way I lived my life. Just kind of quiet, shy, getting picked on. And so this was up in Chicago. Then when I was 13, we moved to Houston. And I started 8th grade that year when we moved to Houston. And I don't know, I just had something kind of went off in me. I think I was just sick and tired of living the way I was. I was tired of being picked on. I was tired of not standing up for myself, because like in me, I had a totally different viewpoint. Like, I didn't really want people telling me what to do. I had my own strong opinions on a lot of things in life, but I wouldn't share that. I wouldn't express it. So in 8th grade, I just decided to take a totally different stance. And I spoke up for myself. I took up for myself. When I would get picked on in school, usually I had a retort for that. So, soon the kids I went to school with, they knew that I wasn't going to stand for being picked on or bullied. And so I think we all have to come to that realization in our life. How do we want people to perceive us? How do we want people to treat us? And it starts within ourselves. How do we view ourselves? Do you value yourself? Do you think that you're worthy enough to expect and, demand respect? So it starts with us. How much do you love yourself? Excuse me. And people will be quick to pick up on that. If they can tell that you don't really value yourself or respect yourself, believe me, people pick up on that quickly. And sadly, they will use it to their advantage. And so that's what I've always believed in for myself. Just stand up for myself. If it's like values or ethics that I don't agree with, then I'm going to be quick to voice my thoughts. Now, you may be unpopular or ridiculed, whatever. If you truly value yourself and think you're worthy enough, you don't let other people's opinions and ideals affect you. You got to take a stand. I've said it before, even one of my episodes had this, the title, Take a Stand for Something or Fall for Anything. And I'm a firm believer in that, and I've seen people get used, get abused, and, just take it. Whether it's at school or the workplace. And you want to know something that's funny? That people who usually do this or target people like that, most of the time they're insecure about themselves. Have you ever thought about that? Yeah, bullies and people who are always trying to assert their viewpoints or, their thoughts onto you. They're projecting their own insecurity, their own shortcomings. They're projecting it onto you. So remember that. And like I said, take a stand for yourself. I don't let people dictate things that they want me to do that I don't agree with, or something that's totally out of their place to say. Quick example, not too long ago, we had what we consider good friends. They kind of approached us with something that had to do with one of our children. Now, don't get me wrong. If you see something, not right with our kids, instead of saying it takes a village, by all means, let me or my wife know if you see something with one of our kids that you don't, it doesn't sit right with you, or you think it needs to be addressed. Yeah, by all means, approach us with it. But there's a way that you can do that, a way that you're not bullying or dictating things that's going to happen. Do not come to me telling me what I better do or else. That is not the way to approach Mitch Wright. And I'm not trying to be, a certain type of way. That's just who I am. So yeah, when they approached us and the way they approached us, I told Michelle right away, like, oh no, like, I cannot let this go. I had to voice my opinion and let them know, there's a right way to do something and a wrong way. I felt the way that we were approached about the situation was totally inappropriate. It's not the way to rectify matters when you're dictating what someone should do, especially another grown-up. Like, that's the whole thing. I'm a grown person, and not to say that, in a boastful way, because we can always learn and learn new experiences no matter how old we are. But, especially if I'm like older than you, I would expect you to approach me in a certain way, just like the same type of respect I have for ones that's older than me. I'm 53, but I still respect my parents. I talk to them a certain way. Friends and associates that are older than me, I respect them and I say things in a certain manner. To me, it's just all about respect. That's how I was brought up. The era that I was brought up in, it was called you respect your elders. And so, yeah, that whole situation. And it's funny, it happened, a few weeks ago, but Michelle and I were still talking about it this weekend. It's like if they would have just approached us in a totally different manner, a respectful manner, things could have turned out differently. But as it is now, if we ever see them, we'll be cordial, but it'll never be how it used to be. And that's because, I'm not going to let anyone run me over or walk all over me. I'm not going to allow that for me, and I'm not going to allow it for my wife or our kids. I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to say something. And so, you think about that in different aspects of your life, whether it's, family, relatives, work, school. Are there ways that people are walking over you? Do you allow it? Or do you take a stand for yourself? If there's something that you don't agree with, even if it makes you the only person in the group to have that viewpoint, do you have the courage? Do you have the self-worth, the self-love to take a stand for yourself? You take a stand for something or fall for anything. You have to believe that because there are people that are out there that will take advantage of you. And I mentioned it a few seconds ago, but yeah, family or relatives. Sadly, some of these individuals can be the top offenders of this. They may use the excuse or, say that we're close. I'm looking out for you. Yeah, it don't matter who it is. If you're not comfortable with something, you need to say something. It's as simple as that. It made me think about growing up and our relatives, because as I mentioned in other episodes, I was raised up in a particular religion. And so with our beliefs and our faith, there are certain things that, my family and myself, we weren't going to do and we didn't do. And so, you wouldn't even imagine all the things that they said to me growing up, like relatives, about our religion, about our lifestyle. And, interestingly enough, now I'm young, I would say, preteen years and teenager, young adult. Interestingly, these so-called caring relatives would always attack our religion or our lifestyle when I was alone, when I wasn't around my parents. When we were all together, it was, so much respect and, but when I was alone, like every second that they could, they were putting myself and my family down. As a young individual, that, it confused me. It infuriated me. because so many, like in so many aspects of life, we expect our relatives or family members to be so close to us, and we don't expect them to hurt us. And so sometimes that will cause us to shy away from speaking up for ourselves or taking a stand. But let me tell you, that's wrong too. It doesn't matter if they're relatives or family members. You have to respect yourself enough to put an end to it. And, I'm not saying it in a rude way. You don't have to be rude or annoying with the way you do it. But you can politely, yet sternly take up for yourself and put people in their place. I've watched, people try to take advantage of my wife's niceness. And so, yeah, her personality is she wants to help everyone. She has a lot of empathy. She has a lot of care for people. And, sadly, people try to take advantage of that. And, especially if someone just keeps asking for something, ask, can you do this? Can you do that? And it just don't stop. And so it's like, I always laugh with Michelle, and I tell her we balance each other out. We help each other a lot. So where she's, real caring and empathetic, she wants to help everyone. I, on the other hand, I'm more, I have no problem with helping those in need, or if someone asks me for help with something, I have no problem like helping or sharing, giving of myself. But I'm a little bit more reserved with it. So, if I see her seem like she's going all out for someone, and I'm like, okay, you have to pump your brakes a little bit because they may be trying to take advantage of you. I help her in that way. Whereas on the other hand, she'll help me, to see maybe I'm being too stern about something, or she'll help me see a different viewpoint or perspective about a person. And so we help each other like that. So yeah, it's good to have a good support system if you need help with this. But I'm always, and she's so much different now because we came up totally different, my wife and myself. And so now she's totally different. She doesn't matter who it is, friend, family, coworker. She takes a stand for herself, and, she won't be taken advantage of. And, that makes me happy because, like I said, I take care of myself, but then, my responsibility as a husband and a father is to take care of them and make sure they're good. And so, yeah, have a good support system, especially if you find yourself in that group that's shy, timid, kind of go with the flow. You can do it. Like I said, when I was growing up, I was that type. I was that person. But I just got tired of being taken advantage of. And I'll tell you another thing too. Something else to think about. I'm a nice person. My parents just raised me to show good manners, to be polite. Now, sometimes when you're a nice person and you're polite, you're kind, and you try to treat people nice, sometimes they mistake this for weakness. So you really have to be careful with that. Not letting people walk over you just because they think you're nice and they mistake that for weakness. So I've had to stand up for myself a lot of times with that too, especially in the workplace. And I'm sure you may have experienced this too, but yeah, I've started employment at different places. And sometimes the people would even tell me, like a month or two after I've been working there, that they didn't know how long I lasted that job, because they thought I was all, nice and soft and, well spoken. So they didn't know how I would do. And they were surprised that I was still around. And that shocked me, honestly, when I heard it, because I remember one job. It was a home medical equipment service. So basically what we did was we delivered any medical equipment that you can find in a hospital room. We delivered it to people's homes or nursing home or hospice, wherever they were. We took them the equipment they needed, from beds to oxygen to breathing machines. And so some of the situations you would deliver in, it's not ideal situations. I worked it was in Chicago, about 2004 and 2005. I had moved back up to Chicago, and yeah, some of the places weren't ideal. Housing projects, inner city, rough neighborhoods. So, here comes this. They see a nice guy, clean cut. And I laughed. And when they told me that story, I had a good laugh about that. They said they actually had made bets with each other, how long I would last. And I would always joke around with them. And I would tell them, don't let the smooth look fool you. Because I may be clean cut, I may be well spoken, I may be nice. But, don't ever mistake that for weakness. And they quickly learned that. Even a couple of coworkers, sadly, tried to test me, on two different occasions. And they got to see the side of Mitch that they didn't know was in there. So sometimes, and I'm not promoting being unkind, I'm not promoting violence, but I'm just saying sometimes people have to see, even though you're nice or you're a kind, genuine person, they have to know that you can't be walked on. That, don't mistake this kindness or niceness for weakness. Sadly, that's just the society we live in. People prey on the weak. And so you have to really, really take a stand and show people that you're not the one. You're not going to be disrespected or looked down upon just because you're a nice person. You can be nice, but still take a stand for yourself. And so that's what I'm always, like I said, I'm very passionate about that, because I know how it felt growing up as a young person, to feel that way, to feel unheard. Like I said, I had my own viewpoints. I had my own strong opinions, but I was too afraid to let anyone know. And why? Because I was insecure with myself. I didn't have enough self-worth yet. That's what it all boils down to. When we take a good, deep, honest look, that's what it boiled down to. I would say from kindergarten to 7th grade, because of certain physical aspects of myself, I didn't have the security and the self-worth and the self-respect that I have for myself now. And so I'm, like I said, if I see someone that I care about and love, I'm quick to bring it up in a nice, respectful way, because I care about that person, and I hate seeing people taken advantage of, or not being who I see they are. A lot of us, we have great potential, and we show it each and every day. But, I have individuals where they don't see it, and I have to point out different aspects of their life or different examples that I've seen and witnessed them do to really show them the type of person they are. Positive, strong. Sometimes, it just has to be presented to a person. So, I urge you to do that too. If you know someone that you care about, and you see they struggle with self-worth, or they fall in that category where they don't speak up for themselves, or they don't think much of themselves, be a positive role model, be a positive influence in that person's life. By all means, share with them what you see. Some people are surprised because what you're doing, you're on the outside looking in. So share with that individual what you see. Give them specific examples to support what you're saying to them, so that they realize that you're genuine, that you're being real with them. Because a lot of times that's what we need. We need that outside influence and encouragement from someone else to bolster us up, to recharge us. So, this world is about not just taking, but giving as well. So, think about people you can influence and help and encourage. We all need it. It feels good when someone's give you commendation, genuine commendation. So, don't you feel good when someone does it to you? So why not be that positive influence for someone else and help them, especially if they're struggling with being their own voice, speaking up for themselves. Because once we feel good about ourselves and we have that value for ourselves, you see life in a totally different manner. And like I said, I'm speaking from experience. Once I got out of my shell, got out of my own head of self-doubt and self-sabotage, I started enjoying life a whole lot more. In school, socially with my friends, at home. So I urge all of you to, if it is ways that you can improve, if there are ways that you can improve on this subject, take an honest look at your life, at your circumstances. And, if you're letting people walk over you, you have to ask yourself why. What is it about me that makes it, makes other people comfortable or okay with thinking that they can do this? And if you don't feel comfortable taking a stand alone with someone, invite a buddy. If you're intimidated on the one-on-one, get the support you need. But, and a lot of this I've been talking about in a social way, but especially if, someone is doing something to you in a darker sense. And I'm speaking about like things someone shouldn't be saying or doing to you in a predatory way or a sexual manner. And yeah, you by all means need to take a stand for yourself, because that aspect of it too, like I mentioned in episode 3, that happened to me at a young age. And I knew good and well what that person was doing. I knew what she was doing was wrong, like totally wrong. But I didn't speak up, And so, especially in that sense of this subject, if someone is preying on you or doing something is wrong or abusive, definitely need to speak up or get the proper help that you need to help you speak up. Those times especially are not the time to be timid or to take it. It does so much more damage mentally and emotionally. I can tell you that firsthand also. So, when you turn it to that serious aspect of what I'm talking about, about not being preyed on or abused, yeah, like definitely speak up, stand your ground, get the proper help you need, whether it's someone trusted or if you need to get the authorities involved, do that. But yeah, especially don't let anyone walk all over you when it comes to that, and that's what those predators, that's what they look for. Someone that's kind of timid, shy, not gonna say much. They know what to look for. Trust me. And so, yeah, everyone I care about, telling this to, my wife and I, we've had many conversations with our children, with all our children, all 4, as they were growing up. If there's ever a situation you're not comfortable with in words or their actions, you need to tell someone. Come tell us. Don't think we're going to blame you. Don't think we're going to ridicule you. Don't think we're going to judge you. Come tell us. Because Michelle and I both been in those situations where, we tell someone and they either didn't believe us or they blew it off. So we wanted to let our kids know, quickly, that we aren't like that. We're going to listen. We're going to take it seriously what you tell us. And we're going to help you rectify the situation. And so, we all need to be taught that at an early age. Don't let people walk over us, whether it's socially or much serious circumstances. So, I hope this has been of great value to you. It starts with us loving ourselves. I'm always preaching that week in and week out. We have to love ourselves to have that self-worth and that self-respect. People pick up on that very quickly. You'd be surprised. From the first moments that you meet someone, they're sizing you up. We all do it. We're sizing other people up. So if people see that you're a nice or a timid or shy person, just, be careful. I'm not saying everyone is like that, but some will try to take advantage of you, or some will try to push limits, test your boundaries. So, just be careful. Love yourself enough to where you value yourself, you value your life, and, your best interests are in your hands. Don't ever forget that you are a strong person. Keep yourself motivated, keep yourself positive, and believe in yourself. I know a lot of individuals that they struggle with it, believing in themselves. So if you're someone like that, just try to stay positive. Read positive things. Stay away from the negativity. Sometimes being on social media too much can have a negative impact on our life. There's so much negativity online and in social media, so be very careful about that, because other people's insecurities can rub off on us. All that hate and the arguing and bickering that you see on social media, it's from a bunch of insecure people, negative people. So, if you're on social media a lot, guard what you take in daily, because negativity can rub off on you. So stay positive, do positive things, be healthy as you can. And that way you just stay positive, and your self-love and your self-care will be at an all-time high. And if that's at an all-time high, then no one should be able to disrespect you or cut you down or make you feel less of who you are. So those are my wishes for you with this episode, to take care of yourself, take a stand for yourself. Don't let anyone change who you are. Take a stand for something or fall for anything. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening, as always. I look forward to many more episodes. Email me if you have any comments or feedback. Mitch@themitchwright.com. And you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter at Love Is Your Medicine Podcast. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for all the different listeners across the United States and in Germany and Belgium and UK. I appreciate you all. Have a great day. Have a great week. Go and do great things.